Well, it sure looks like a good day to stay home and do some homework. We'll just leave the van right where it is, and I'm going to profile the printer, clean the printer, do some stuff like that, work on the website. Well, now, this is one of those days when my photography is going to need a little bit of help, and that's for sure. Going to get a little chocolate milk here. I get the 1%. Grind up a little fresh coffee, a little more. Little coffee. Pack it down a wee bit. Steam some milk. Now it's safe to go back to work. Well, now, I haven't made a print for a while, probably 5 or 6 weeks, and I've been running nozzle checks, and we've got a couple of plugged nozzles, so what we're going to have to do is have to clean the machine and make sure that we're getting a good pattern on the nozzle checks before we carry on to make a print. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up the front of the printer. I always keep a little water inside the printer. Now, I'm going to push the little release here, the little blue tab, pull the head over there. Now we're going to we'll get a paper towel, and we'll fold that paper towel like this. And we're going to get some original Windex. This is the original Windex with ammonia. We want to wet this down. Don't want it dripping wet, but you want it nice and wet. Okay. Now then, we're going to put this in the printer, just underneath the white rollers at the top. Make sure that it's nicely down on the right edge where we're going to slide the head over there gently. Okay, now we're going to let it sit there. You can let it sit there overnight for as long as you think is necessary for the ammonia to dissolve the old ink that's in there. Now, we'll pull back the paper towel. That's the kind of thing you're going to see on the paper towel where the ink was. Eh? So now we'll just give it another tiny, weeny little bit of a clean here. Now then, over on the right, you're going to clean the capping station and the wiper roller, wiper blade a little bit. Okay, and we'll put that back. Close the printer up. We'll turn it on. Now, as you can see, I've got a 44-inch canvas roll on here. We're not going to want to use that for what we're doing now. So what we have to do is put the little media wrap on our media like that. We'll get the box for the canvas. out the roll of canvas, which is quite heavy. It's 44 inches wide by 100 feet. So, pull that out. The enhanced matte paper has a larger core, so we're going to have to put these on here so that we can chuck up a 17-inch roll of enhanced matte paper to do all of our tests with. Okay, so that's ready. Wow, here's a 17-inch roll. It's a lot smaller than the canvas and a lot lighter. Just slip it on there. Put this cap on here. Okay, so there we go. The white side goes on the right. White on the right. Put it there. Lift up the paper lever. Okay. Well, the first message I get now is that we need a new ink cartridge. So, fortunately, I have one in stock, matte black. I knew that was due for a change, so we'll just unseal it. The old matte black, there's the new one. Just give a little bit of a shake end for end like that to stir the pigment up in there. And we'll put that in there. Put the lever down. And please wait. The ever popular please wait. I'm going to use the wait time to pack away the canvas properly in its plastic bag with the end cap. Okay, it's not happy with the paper loading, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, reload the paper. And we're ready. So I'll just go to the computer, send a nozzle check, hit print. Still got a couple little bad spots in there. Well, our first nozzle check is not perfect. It's not too bad. It's much better than it was, but I've got a couple of blank spots in there, so I think we'll do a cleaning cycle. Now that we've got the nozzles nice and clean, we're going to align the head. So, press the menu button. Down to head alignment. Menu. Paper thickness. Standard. It's good. Press save the setting. Press this. Down to alignment. Auto. Uni-D. So we'll start Uni-D. Well, now the final alignment is bi-directional all. And we just press the start button. Give that about another 7 minutes. Well, that's what the head alignment patch looks like. It's all done. It took about half an hour altogether. Now it's finished. Well, now that we've cleaned and tested the printer, we're going to get ready to make a print. Now this is the profile chart that I print so that I can generate a profile for the printer. This is the passport color chart that I use to profile the cameras. Now, depending on the software and hardware that you use to profile your printer, everything's going to be different. Same thing pretty much for the camera. We use Passport, this Passport color chart, and also the Passport software, which will generate a profile. You can generate that through Lightroom. You just photograph the color patches, open it in Lightroom, and then generate a color profile for your camera. Then that profile can be applied to all your files that were shot under the same lighting situation. Now, to profile the printer, we have to profile the printer, we use this test chart which we printed, and we use this device to measure the color patches. It's a pretty painstaking process and takes about 45 minutes, and it's totally dependent on which software and hardware you're using, so there's really no point in me showing how to profile the printer, because whatever hardware and software you're going to be using, it's going to be a different process. This is what I've chosen to use, is the color vision from Data Color. We also profile the monitor to make sure that what we're seeing on the monitor is what's going to come out of the printer, and we use Color Spider. This is the Color Spider that we use to measure the light coming off the monitor, so that we know that what we see on the monitor is going to bear a pretty fair resemblance to what we get out of the printer. We'll also test the print profile before we make a big print. We'll test the printer profile, and we'll print a test image, like a 4x5 or 6x8 of the big print we're going to make. I think what we're going to print today is going to be an HDR image of the Mittens in Monument Valley. It was a sunrise. I did a 7 exposure bracket, and we're going to combine that into an HDR. We'll use Lightroom and another HDR program. Now that's another thing you can use. You can work directly from Photoshop. You can export the 7 images into Photoshop and merge it into HDR, or you could use On1, which is now like Google, and there's different ways, different software to use, and everything's different. But we're going to take our file, we're going to print a test shot, and then we're going to make a print. Thanks for watching. This is the file that we want to print, open in Lightroom. Now we're going to go open it in Photoshop. So we'll go back to Photoshop. There's our file. We're ready to print. We're going to make a few changes. We're going to combine this photograph with our test for the profile, and we're going to print a test and see where we're at. We're resizing the image in perfect resize. We're going to print 38-inch width. Here we combine the image that we're going to print with a test of the printer profile. We'll print both of them together, and then we'll be able to see if our printer's in proper profile and how our print's going to look in the final result. We're ready to print a test. Here we go. We've got the printer profile test. We have the Mittens. We've got a couple of buildings, little architectural work. We're going to send this off to the printer and make a test print. So, file, print, Epson Stylus 9800, Photoshop managing colors. We're all ready to print the test print. Enhance, yeah, canvas, matte canvas. We're sending the print off to the printer, and it does seem to take forever some days. Did you set it to banner? It seems to be wasting a lot of paper, a lot of canvas. This is what it's all about, waiting to see what the print's going to look like. Drive 5,000 or 10,000 miles, take thousands of pictures, pick out 1 or 2 or 3, then you spend some time making the prints. Never know what it's going to absolutely look like until it's done. Oh boy, it's starting to make sense now. I can see the prints coming out. From what I can see through the smoke glass, they look great. Well, there are our test prints. Everything looks pretty good to me. We'll have to cut them with the scissors and take a close. There is a cutter in the printer, but it's not suitable for the heavyweight canvas that we're using. So we have to cut this by hand. It's not a problem. Now we'll compare our canvas profile that we just printed with one that we have saved from the past. Once we're satisfied that our printer is still in profile and our test print looks good, we're going to go ahead and make a large print, and that's what it's all about. This is the most exciting part as far as I'm concerned. I love taking the photographs, but I love making the prints more than anything else. When I see the finished work on the wall, video doesn't really do it for me. I like to see prints on the wall. There's our image on the screen, ready to go. We're ready to send it off to the printer. And there it goes to the printer. Yeah, those are the Mittens, all right. Little bit of a drive, sandstorm. It was unbelievable. This never gets old for me. I just love watching the prints come out. Takes me right back to that day. It was freezing, freezing cold. I never get tired of watching the prints. I love to watch prints come out of the printer. It's like such a far cry from the days of chemicals and paper, but the thrill is still there. I look back on this, I flew to Las Vegas, rented an SUV, drove across the desert, got caught in a sandstorm, woke up frozen in the morning, got these photographs, and there it is. A moment captured in time forever. Well, this is what it's all about. At the end of the day, there's nothing like having a look at your print. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll have to let that dry for a day or two, then I'm going to spray it. Then we'll spray it and finish it, and it'll be ready to go.